All right, friends. So it's been a minute. It has been a minute. This is Sam. Welcome to Harvey Cat Homestead. I owe you guys an apology. This is Osono. She's a sweet little girl. She is a silver fox doe. Hey, calm down. I got you. You're okay, baby. She's clearly a little nervous. But she's brand new. We picked her up Saturday, so she's been here. She hasn't been here quite a full week yet. She's got some odd things happening, like with her face here. She's got like a little bit of thin, like flaky fur. And I think she's a little bloated. But anyway, she's getting used to her new home here. And she's really cute. I want to check her real quick because she felt a little wet. Oh, you're okay? You're okay? You're just crusty? Yeah. She's a good girl. She's very patient. But that little struggle that you just saw her do is the first time I've ever seen her do that. So she's brand new, which means she's still in quarantine. Here you go, babes. I know you didn't like that. I'm sorry. So she will be a reader for our Silver Fox program. So it's been probably too long since I've gotten up with you guys. I want to apologize for that. I'm not going to make excuses. I haven't prioritized well because I've started working a new job, which is really fun. I really enjoy what I'm doing over there. So I'm at Millboro & Co., which is they're not certified organic, but all of their growing practices are organic. They are a vegetable farm in Franklinville, North Carolina. So my buddy Nick and his family are running that, and I've stepped in. And initially it was going to be just a couple days a week, but right now it's kind of the turn of the season. So we're pulling out a lot of the summer stuff, putting in a lot of fall and winter stuff. And basically, instead of it being just a few days a week, it's been every single day a week. So timing's been a little odd and it's not really been what I expected. So that's a bit of why I've not been back on to chat with you guys. Also, the projects that I wanted to get to, I just straight up haven't gotten to. But today I wanted to introduce you to Osono. She's so funny. Rabbits are so funny. They like after they've been touched by humans, they're like, I have to get this human stink off of me. But so because she's new, she is still in quarantine, which means 30 feet away from all the other bunnies for 30 days. And that's just in case there is anything going wrong with her, I can catch it before it spreads to the rest of my rabbits. Like that weird flaky skin situation right at the base of her ears. That is something I am slightly concerned about. I may just go ahead and do a preventative ivermectin treatment just in case it is something like fur mites. I haven't seen any ear mites or any signs of that, but it's something we are keeping a lookout for. She's so cute. Her fur is like the softest silver fox fur that I've ever felt, which technically that's not breed standard. You want them a little rougher, but I'm not showing right now. So she's just a fun hobby. Anyway, my plan today is to just catch you guys up on what's going on around the homestead and kind of give you a little bit of a life update. So things ended with Foster Street Wesleyan Church with us, and we have stepped into the leadership team over at Randleman First Wesleyan, and I love it. Everybody there is absolutely lovely. I'm very, very grateful. Everyone has been very gracious and very welcoming, and we're doing our best to really build a sense of community. So that's another thing that's taken a little bit of my time away from the homestead, which it's mostly in the evening, so it doesn't even really count, but my mind has been elsewhere. So those are probably the biggest things that have been going on. It's just a lot of change, a lot of new things, and most of the projects there's really one big project here that I need to get to that is going to take a lot of time and a lot of resources that I just don't have right now. So that's been the holdup with a lot of things. I have finished a fair bit of things with the rabbitry though, so I can show you that. I'm very happy about the way that has turned out and like where she's going to go whenever she's... Are you squinting at me? Worried about your crusty little eyeball, girl. Aw. Anyway, what will be her home that is permanent after this? This is not permanent. This is under our carport. So I need to figure out storage for all those cushions too. Those things are going to get ruined out here. Anyway, let's just get right to it. And I'm going to show you guys the garden first. So these are all these stinking pumpkins. I have so many pumpkins. These are Dutch fork pie pumpkins. They do super duper well around here because they are a local-ish heirloom. They're a South Carolina heirloom, but you know, we're in North Carolina. We're not that far, and we're like eastern-ish central North Carolina, so it just works out pretty well. So the garden, I have been a lazy bum and I haven't even watered out here. Most things don't really seem to mind because anything that's still going at this point in the season is going to be a little hardier anyway. So our cow peas are still going. If I really wanted to, I could come and harvest some of these pods right now because they are ready. They're still putting immature pods on, but oh man, that's not a good sign. I need to come out and treat with BT. You see this wormy? Those things eat they eat the actual beans that are in there, so that's not good. They're a pretty common problem though, so you know, they're pretty gross though. They're kind of like little maggots. Anyway, so those are the cow peas. So let me just go ahead and tell you, this whole situation, me coming out here and showing you what's going on, the reason I haven't been out here very much is because it's a bit disheartening. Yeah, see all these green beans over here? I ripped up the green beans that were in the ground. That's what that pile over there is. I kind of left them in a pile just to test to see if the deer would come screw with them, and they didn't. But the deer kept devouring them to the point where it seemed pointless for me to leave them because they weren't producing. And honestly, I didn't really like that variety anyway. They didn't. Those are dragon tongue, and the problem was the pods kept flattening out and they would get really tough very quickly. And with me not having the time to come out and harvest, they just weren't ideal. So my rattlesnake pole beans, I've been trying to come out here and just pull the pods that are too big so that it keeps putting fresh fruit on. So like this is really too large of a pod. Like I'm not going to eat that. Yeah, they're still laying over here. Yeah, ideally you harvest these things when they're small and they're tender and they're fresh. But I just haven't had the time. Picking beans takes a little bit of time, so I've just not made the time to come and do that because I have too many other things I've been trying to get to. I have been harvesting my chives down there. Those things have done quite well. Very happy with them. I've got a few more in other locations that did not do as well. So very, very happy about those little chives. Nice flavor pop. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here. I realize I've already started, but I'm going to move over here. So this is where all of the tomatoes had been. I've ripped those out. That hops plant, if it survives, which like I said, I haven't watered, so it's clearly not doing well, and it's in a container. It really needs to be in the ground. What I'm going to do, grand scheme picture here. So this whole space is going to be fenced in with a deer fence. So what I'm going to do is, my plan right now is to empty this whole bed of all of the soil and everything that's in it, pull it up and move it to a different location and use the outer posts of this trellis as like posts for the fence. So I'm going to plant the hops in the ground kind of underneath there so that it can still grow up the trellis. Like I'm still going to use this as a trellis, but things are going to be planted in the ground instead of in that bed, because that bed, it's not a great bed. It just gets entirely too hot, and the soil's not deep enough. It'd be okay for something like maybe radishes, but even that, the trouble is that black plastic gets so hot. Dixie, she's so happy to be outside. Anyways, that black plastic absorbs so much heat that it just does not, it does not maintain the proper temperature for something like a radish, something that doesn't need super great deep soil. So it does pretty well with peppers. I think maybe next year that's just going to be what I stick with. What's in here right now is I didn't plant any of that. Every bit of that blue spice basil just came up from seeds from last year, but the bees love it. I don't know if you can see that little honeybee buzzing around, but I've been letting it kind of go just for the sake of pollinators. So I'll kind of show you as we go where the fence is going to go. Again, this is going to be such a large undertaking that's literally why I haven't gotten out here, because the deer have been decimating the things that I've really been trying to plant. And with it being the turn of the season, anything that I plant out here is going to be like candy to them. And I really don't want to encourage them to continue to eat in here. So I really would prefer to put up a fence before I start my fall crops. But I don't think that that's going to, I just don't think that's going to happen, because it also has to coincide with me destroying these raised beds that are clearly rotting. I'm still leaving some of the vines down here to just kind of decay and drop some of their goodness that they are decomposing. Some of these zinnias are still actually looking pretty good. Like that's I think Persian carpet, and it's, for it being like a dwarf zinnia, it's still quite pretty. Not complaining. And these guys, zinnias are some of my absolute favorites. They're just so stunning. Like they require nothing. Like I haven't watered out here ever. At least not since it's gotten hot. And they don't seem to care one bit. So I love a plant that's just tough, you know. Plus they're beautiful, and the pollinators love them. And they have such a cool variety of colors and shapes and stuff. But as you can see, they do have problems with like some fungus and powdery mildew and blight and whatnot. But there's so much variety in their shape. Like, look at these funky little pom-pom pink guys. Those are cool. But then you also have some that are just like the typical style, and then some, as they mature, they have that big cone, and then these different petal shapes. This is a Senorita variety, and then the color on it fades, and it's just really, really cool. So anyway, that's enough of me nerding out about zinnias. This is a good example right here of the deer damage. They've been coming in a bit less since it's been so dry and I haven't been watering. I'm thinking maybe that has to do with their absence, because there is new growth on here since they've been. So they haven't visited in a little bit. I did also put up a little bit of a deterrent. It's like a motion sensor that like barks like a dog, and there's different sounds that you can change it to, because deer will get used to anything. But this is our orange Jing okra and our hill country okra. These are the two crops that I'm actually coming out here and harvesting off of. As you can see, wow, those pests, those freaking leaf-footed bugs are all over that pod. Get off of there. Anyways, as you can see, that pod's probably like a little bit too old, but whatever. I'll still eat them at that size. If they get much bigger, then they're way too tough to eat. But the fact, honestly, I attribute them surviving the deer damage to the fact that I prune them when they're small. And so you get this multi-branched structure instead of just one little spike that, you know, traditionally, whenever you're growing okra, you get. The ageratum in this bed is getting ready to flower. This is another one I didn't plant, This is one that I just allowed to go to seed last year, and now it is coming from that seed. I'm basically just using this as like a cover crop because I'm gonna chop it down pretty soon. I need to put some carrots or something in there. I think what I'm gonna do, oh, and I forgot to mention, the potatoes are in here. They desperately need to be harvested. They are ready to get pulled out of the ground. The good thing is because it's not raining, they're not gonna rot, but they still need to come up, and I need to do something to preserve them. But talking about what's going to go in this bed, I think what I'm going to do is put some carrots, like I'm just going to direct seed some carrots and some radishes and things, but I'm going to have to use like an insect netting basically to keep the deer out, which that's going to prevent them from getting a little bit of sun, but they'll be okay. This has been a really fun experiment this year. This cotton, I have a whole gallon bag of cotton that I've pulled off, like I've removed the seeds from. So this is a cotton bowl. Each of those little sections are bowls, and there are seeds that are inside of it, so you've got to pull it apart, but it's really cool. So I don't know how exactly I'm going to use that. Ideally, what I will do is roll it. I'm not a fiber arts person. I would like to be, but spin it. I would love to spin it into some string and crochet with it, or yarn, whatever. I don't know. Sweet potatoes are still doing great. I've been harvesting some of the greens off of those and feeding them to the rabbits. I have let these purple sparkle peppers go because they hurt me when I eat them. They really, really bothered my stomach. So I don't know if anybody else has experienced that. I don't really have that problem with any other pepper that I've tried. But for some reason, this purple sparkle, and it bothers my mom too. And I don't know. I'm not going to grow that again next year. This eggplant is late. I very intentionally planted it late in the season. I don't know if it's going to even fruit, but it's still here. I've got this purple leaf cotton kind of in a bunch of random spots. There's 3 or 4 of them. 3 or 4 of them. Zinnias, peppers, basil. Still harvesting off the basil. The only reason I'm still harvesting off of this is because I've been pinching it. Like I've been removing the flowers before they really get to going, because the flavor on those completely changes once the flowers hit. Like it gets licoricey, and I personally really am not a fan of that flavor, but to each his own. And then there's basil, like the blue spice basil here, that this is another spot where it just seeded out. But its flavor doesn't change whether it's flowering or not. So, and then I've got stevia that came back. This stevia actually like popped up right here. I let all this stevia go to seed last year, and there have been 2 or 3 different spots where it has grown from seed. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to have, just growing from seed randomly. Here's another spot where I have really let these green beans go. There's only 2 green bean plants in there, but man, they're a mess. There's a beet that I missed harvesting. It's going to be pithy and hard, so I really need to just go ahead and pull that out. But, well, alrighty, that's the raised beds. Now for the food forest space. None of my apples really produced a lot of fruit this year. That one has a flower on it right now. You see that? What a kooky thing. Buddy, you're confused, aren't you? Oh, honey. You really don't need to be doing that right now. Anyway, I have just a hot mess out here, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, because part of this is basil that's reseeded, and that's all basil that has reseeded. But then some of the squash, I've just let it go. And it's just whatever. And then these pumpkins, I have even more of these Dutch fork pie pumpkins out here. And I will tell you, their flavor's phenomenal. Like, I've roasted and turned several of them into like pumpkin puree for pies and whatnot. And man, they've been phenomenal. They taste great. but they're just so big. They're very difficult to work with. But you know, you take the good with the bad, I guess. But I mean, I think this is 2 plants and it's taken up this entire area, and it's been nibbled quite well by the deer. Again, you see some new growth since they've come over here and really devoured it, but a lot of the apples got a lot of deer damage too. Sorry, I'm trying not to fall as I'm walking through here. The pawpaw is starting to defoliate, and then I really need to water it. That is a concern, actually, that species specifically. If you don't water your pawpaws this time of year, they can die, and I really don't want to lose him. Need to baby him a little bit better. Oh, do you guys hear this low hum of these bees? That's so cool. Anyway, there's like bees all over this blue spice basil. So this is a quince. It's done pretty well in terms of surviving the summer. The blueberries out in here, I don't have a lot of new growth on these blueberries, and I could probably attribute that to the fact that they are being swallowed up by pumpkin. So I don't know if I'm going to plant another Dutch fork pie pumpkin out here next year. Honestly, I could probably go for another 4 years and not plant Dutch fork pie pumpkin, just with the amount of pumpkin that I've already gotten. This variegated Joe pie weed is really pretty. I say it's really pretty. It's beat up because it's so hot, but there are a lot of things out here that are beat up because they're so hot. I need to come out here and prune these apples. They're, oh man, they're getting out of hand. I like to prune my apples in the summer because I like to keep them at a height where I can harvest. And if you prune them as they're actively growing, it just changes the way they grow a little bit, and I feel like you can adjust more, but you know, that's just me. This indigo is a dye plant. So not only could I use the cotton from those purple leaf cottons to produce my own fiber, I could then dye it blue with my own indigo, or dye it orange or red with this Dyer's Coreopsis. But you know, who has time for these things? The cardoons are doing quite well over here. I haven't harvested off of them at all. This is a watermelon I didn't plant. It has set fruit. It has set fruit. That one little dude over there. I desperately need to come out here and water. I didn't expect to get anything off of this plant. With the temperature changing, I have a feeling that watermelon is going to taste pretty terrible. Or it's not that they taste bad, it's just that they don't taste. This is a conglomeration of silliness. I didn't plant that Silver Falls dichondra. It came from seed somehow in that container that I have no clue how it got there. I did plant all of that butterfly weed, and I think over the winter what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all of that up. Basically, I just tossed an entire seed packet out of the freezer into that container, and it looks like almost every single one of those things came up. But they all don't need to stay in that container. This poor thing. This poor tower. What a disaster. I just let things go this year. I don't have a good reason. Again, no excuses. The Tithonia looks great. The butterflies and hummingbirds have really been enjoying it. This is a Mexican sunflower. This is one I plopped a seed that I collected last year in the ground, and it's come up and just really loved it. This is a, what is it? Tulsi. So it's a holy basil. I haven't harvested. I need to harvest. I have been harvesting a bit of it and feeding it to the rabbits, but you know, that's neither here nor there. That lemon basil in the background, I'm really hoping that it will, I've allowed it to go to seed because I want it to produce seeds and come back next year. It may end up completely beaten out by this holy basil that will also be reseeding next year. But the peaches are doing pretty well. They need pruning too. Like, that shape's not ideal. But you can see how big these pumpkins are. I mean, he's just huge. The fig trees have started ripening. So this guy, I'm gonna eat him. He's not 100% there yet, but he's close enough. And like I've told you guys in the past, this tree, it came back from the roots. It was supposed to be a black fig. That's definitely not a black fig. This is some odd type of rootstock fig. But it tastes really good. It tastes really, really good. This is a Chicago hardy fig. This thing's grown 4 feet this year. When I put it in the ground, it was like maybe 6 inches tall. And now it's very, very happy. It's got a bunch of fruit on here too that's beginning to be ready to harvest, but they take a bit longer. The elderberry is still going strong. I'm going to propagate off of it some. I need to propagate some of that white yarrow down there for a friend. Desperately need to prune this mulberry tree. So part of the reason I haven't come down here with you is because basically I'm just oh, this is protection from the deer. This is the almond that it's gotten devoured a couple of times. So the spots that are covered seem to have done a little better. But the reason I've not come down here and talked to you guys is because it's overwhelming for me to consider all the things that I really need to be out here doing. Because it's not a short list. Yeah, these blueberries are a little pitiful. I really ought to be babying those things a little more. All right. So the fence, I think, is going to come along this way and probably end right here. I may encompass the apple trees, but I'm kind of thinking right now I probably won't. My plan is to build like a 3x8 bed every 8 feet. So I'm going to have a bed, empty space of 8 feet, bed, empty space of 8 feet, and use the backside of those beds with like a 4x4 that's about 6 feet tall and put deer fencing along that. So, and then in the center, I'm thinking I may actually just do, instead of doing raised beds, I may just do in-ground beds, because that's what Millboro & Co. does. And honestly, I haven't had any real trouble with it. It's done quite well. Or I feel like it does pretty well over there. So these are a couple of little experimental things that I didn't mention to you earlier. This funky looking dude up here is a sesame seed plant. It looks like it might be trying to flower. I don't know. Kind of looks like a flower to me. But he's doing something. I don't know. It's the first time I've ever grown it. So like I said, it's an experiment. And then that one little dude over there in the corner, that is a butterfly pea. I'm amazed it's still alive, to be completely honest. And then the jicama, the deer have eaten it, which kind of amazed me because it's poisonous. But they don't seem to care. And then it's a root crop, so I'll be harvesting it right before it turns off frosty. But anyway, that's the garden space. That was really good fig. It makes me really happy. So you can tell I haven't watered over here. This is just such a mess with the lemon balm and everything. You can see the deer damage over here too. Like that's fairly new down in there that's been nibbled on. And then the lemon balm. The lemon balm is seeding out. So there's more lemon balm growing back here underneath this Monarda. And the Monarda, she done. She's tapping out for the season, I would say. And I don't blame her because it's hot and dry. But everything else out here seems to be doing pretty well. Guess we'll head to the rabbit tree now. This blanket flower actually is looking pretty good. I thought it had died, but this is one that I think dies regularly, but continues to pop back up kind of intermittently. And it may not even be the same plant. Like you can see I've allowed it to go to seed. So it may just be seedlings That's another one that the bees really like. So it's interesting. On the basil, we saw mostly honeybees, and these are just like carpenter bees, bumblebees on this blanket flower. That's pretty cool. I didn't get a lot of reflowering after I deadheaded these coneflowers, but that's okay. You know, it's funny. I did not plant that Gomphrena. That Gomphrena just popped up from seeds that got dispersed last year, and I've got it in all 3 of the containers back here. I'm not complaining. It's free plants. I need to water them though because they are in containers. I did get a few grapes off of this lovely little vine. The muscadine grapes are not quite ready yet. Well, they're scuppernong. They're the white, they're like golden grapes. But the Catawba grapes, these are the few that are left on it. There was really only one bunch, but I ate them and it made me happy. Hey, little hot bunnies. These guys, man, I really need to harvest them. I know they're 16 weeks old. These ones are 16 weeks old. Ember's kits are 18 weeks old. And I did harvest all of Ember's does out of that litter. But man, what a handsome boy. You're so handsome, buddy. I know. I know. I don't even know what to tell you, friend. I really don't. So we never got the shade cloth up back here to protect these guys, but we kind of ended up putting it to protect the breeders along the other side. Hey girls, these are the 2 does that are left out of Mango's kits. I may hold back one of them. I don't know. I still think I should get out of Creams, but their types are really good, but their growth rate is so slow. They just take forever. Yeah, please excuse the mess. The grow outs get a little bit less attention in terms of caring for their space. Like, it's clean. It's not just nasty. I say that. It's not clean in here where these boys squirt their pee everywhere. Hey, fellas, look at that. You boys are gross. That's just like a marking territory behavior. And since there are 4 of them in here, they get very territorial and yucky. So it's gross. Alrighty. The girls are much easier. I'm thinking actually because of the way I built this, that in the future, I'm not going to put any females in there. I think I'm only going to, I don't think I'm going to put any males in there. I think I'm just going to keep it to females. Just to keep it clean. Because cleaning those sides is going to be really difficult. You girls are so pretty. You're so pretty. Your big girl fur has come in and it looks very nice. Whereas these guys, a couple of these guys are like molting. Hey friends. Jet, where are you? Oh, Jet's peeing. Yeah. Maybe I should move that stuff. Are you like... No, it just hit the ground. Okay. Calcifer's doing good. I still would love to find a home for him. Both of my bucks got cleaned out really well. His tail end looks so goofy, and it's because I just trimmed him. He was molting pretty badly. The 2 tufts of fur that you can kind of see that are still there, that are big, were the only spots that were not molting. So they didn't get removed, but man, does he look goofy. I know, buddy. And then Jet kind of had the same thing. I also cleaned their glands as I was going, and they really did not have a great time with that. But they dealt with it. They're very patient. Are you getting your willow stick, buddy? Are you trying to move it? Don't hurt yourself. Crazy. Ember is sassy as ever. Aren't you, little miss? Hello. She's molting too, but she's like... My females don't molt the same way my bucks do. For some reason, the does just kind of like drop a little bit. Bonnie's doing well. Bonnie won't breed though. I don't know what her deal is. She will not lift for Jet. Like for the past 2 weeks, I've tried breeding them, and she's just like not having it. So I'm going to switch their food in the next few weeks, and I'm really hoping that will help her be a little more amicable. I don't know. We'll see. Ember's just ornery. Aren't you, girl? Are you ornery? Yeah, I know, you don't look happy. All right, so I'm still really happy with this rabbitry setup in terms of the ability to keep things clean, and everything's kind of just falling through in terms of their poop. I need to come in and just shovel it up. I don't want to allow it to get really globby. Like, I don't want it to pile up really big before I move it. The compost, I had a little bit of a hard time keeping up with it this summer in terms of scooping it and turning it. So this is like a pile that really should be finished. It just needs to be turned a few more times. And then I've started another pile over there next to those logs. But, and this, again, this is the list of to-do things. These little guys are going to get pounded into the ground kind of out on the other side of where the shade cloth is. And I'm going to use those strings to tie them to the shade cloth so that it doesn't blow in. Currently, I have that one tied to a tree on that end, on that corner, just so it doesn't hit Calcifer's cage. But I don't know if I'll ever get around to doing that. The hay storage situation's okay in terms of it being underneath here. I haven't really had a lot of problems with moisture or anything, so that's really good. We don't really need the fans right now. I mean, things have cooled off a fair bit, which is, I say a fair bit. Like, the evening temps have been 50, 60 degrees, and then during the day it might get up to 80. Today's a little bit warmer with the high at like 85. So, but it's still September. So, I mean, we've had 90-degree days in October before, so I'm not ready to put them away yet. Anyway, this is the new space. So this, I say it's the new space. It's where the rabbitry previously was. And this is a brand new cage. This is an older cage that has been recycled. And that's just storage. I'm not going to actually house any rabbits up top up there, but I don't really have anywhere else to put these cages for now. But down here will be housing for my does. And as you can see, it's the same sort of, there's nothing underneath. Things, poop and yuckiness can fall directly through to the ground. So that'll be a lot better just for keeping everybody clean and happy. So this is the space where I am going to bring Asono whenever she is done with her 30 days of quarantine. I feel so much cooler under here. Shade cloth just does such a wonder. I'm having a hard time deciding what I'm going to do with the rest of this space. I may just demolish this. I don't know. Like, the stick storage is kind of unnecessary, but behind it, like in this space, this would be a really good area for a couple more grow out cages. I really prefer having them up off of the ground. Like, I know they enjoy munching, but I can keep them cleaner and I can keep them safer from predators and things like that and disease if they are up off of the ground. So this, I could probably fit, I know I could fit 2 more grow out cages right here. If I remove this, I could probably fit a 3rd one right here. And if I really wanted to, I could just shift this to over here. This is obviously just scrap wood from where I've worked on getting the frame ready to hold the other cages. So I've got to decide what of that is worth saving and what just needs to go on the burn pile. But I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. We'll see what the rabbits actually think whenever they get in there. But I don't really have any more space for does in the other main space. I have one other space for a buck, but I may change that too. I keep thinking about this because I really don't need 3 bucks. Like, my rabbitry is so small. So that one empty cage, I keep thinking that maybe I will actually replace that with a larger cage, like a 36-inch long one instead of a 30-inch long one. But I've already built that one, so I'm kind of just having a hard time saying, yeah, whatever, I don't need you anymore. I would really like to find another space for that. That being said, I would also really like to find another way to harness these 2 cages up top. I say 2 cages. There's 3 holes because this is a double cage with a divider in it. But they all have that funky back. Like, because I had them on the lower level of this frame, they all have like this sort of curved back. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable attaching that to the back of something like this, like I did here with screws. So I'd need to come up with some other way to use them. And it may end up just being one of those same situations, kind of like, but they're so much smaller. Like, it seems a little silly to build something like a frame like those grow out hutches for something that's as small as that. I don't know. These are all the things that I just struggle to come to terms with. Passion flower is really pretty. It's got several blooms on here. I'm hoping maybe it'll produce fruit, because look at all those buds. It's quite a few buds on here, and their flowers are just really, really pretty. Really, really pretty. I was hoping that it would overtake this entire trellis, but it kind of just, because I had the other shade cloth zip tied over here, it was just like, nah, I'm just going to stay over here, because it couldn't get its tendrils in because it was too tightly woven. But I decided it was safe to remove it because there's not any rabbits in there right now. I have this lovely garden spider hanging out over here. She is stunning. Big, pretty girl. Come check out the other side of her. Oh, I love spiders. It is getting to be spooky season. Willow's doing pretty well. Eventually, I'm hoping it will allow for more shade over here, so I won't have to put that shade cloth up again in the future. I have left this water hose just because it's easy access. Saves me a little bit of time. And whenever you're working livestock kind of thing, it just, any little bit of time you can save is worth saving. So we're going to head to the front of the property. The front of the property. Yeah, because my property is so huge. Our camellia, our tea camellia, is looking quite lovely. She could probably use a good watering too. This weed. I may actually come do that when I'm done talking to you guys. I did come out and prune our hydrangea just because it was starting to try and split. This is a limelight hydrangea. So they have this unique conical shaped flower as opposed to the little ball shaped ones. Got another garden spider over here. She is lovely. Simply lovely. Goodness. Our current is not happy. The current's not happy. I ordered some dried currants, like currant raisins from Azure Standard, and man, they taste so good. I think they're my new favorite. This anemone is trying to flower. It's not really gotten enough water, but its little blooms are kind of pretty. So that's the flower that I've got tattooed like on the underside of my arm. I'm not even going to try to show you from this angle. It's just going to be goofy. I did come out here and cut back a lot of things. So I actually tried to make a video of it, but my microphone decided to stop working in the middle of me filming it. So you guys didn't get a hold of that, and I am very sorry. I have had a time with these hanging baskets and mold this year. Some kind of fungus has been attacking them. Time's doing okay. Fine line's doing good. Oh, look, there's a couple of hummingbird moths on the butterfly bush. They're cool. They're so fast. We have had quite a few hummingbirds this year, which is really nice. I just love watching them. They're really beautiful. So that's what's been going on here. Certainly enough to keep me busy. Isn't it, Dixie? Is it enough to keep me busy? Yeah. Oh, I guess I could show you this. This crepe myrtle has flowered a little bit. You can't see it unless you're like across the yard though. And the Japanese beetles have kind of stuck only to eating this plant, which, you know, that's fine with me. All right, Asono, you want to say goodbye to our friends? She's like, no, I don't actually. Thanks. All right. Well, it is time to say goodbye. Are you hot? Yeah. Oh, you're going to clean your face. She's so cute. All right, friends. Well, thanks for being patient, I guess. I know it's been over 2 weeks. I went and got a haircut this week, and my aunt, I love my Aunt B to death. She's the best. I've been in there for less than 5 minutes, and she goes, "So it's been 10 days since you posted a video." And I was like, yeah, it has been. I'm so sorry. She is an avid watcher of my channel. Hello, B. Thank you for your support and your encouragement. I do truly appreciate it. I kind of need somebody every now and then to kick me in the tail and say, "Hey, you said you were going to do this thing. Do this thing." I've been doing so many other things that this thing kind of got put on the back burner. And so my friend Jess from Roots and Refuge, she has this saying, sometimes you got to let the low end drag. I apologize that you guys are my low end, but my heart has really been focused on building community and building relationships, and that's where I've been spending my time lately, and it's been a huge blessing. I'm very, very grateful. I've learned so much, and people are just so valuable. And I think when we spend so much time online, we can get in this headspace where we're only focused on the ugliness, or we're focused on creating this image of ourselves that may not even be accurate. And I want to tell you guys, that's why I haven't posted a video, because I filmed 2 or 3 different videos, and I found myself, whenever I went to edit them, thinking, this is not me. This is kind of gross. Like, I'm not going to put this out. So I want to be authentic. Like, authenticity is something that I value immensely. And I'm not going to put some fake persona out there for you guys. Like, you're going to see the real me. And a lot of people may not like that, and that's fine. The cool part about that is you don't have to watch. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I feel like the world will be a much better place if we live by that a little bit more. So that's what I'm focusing on. I am trying to make the world a better place in the little bubble that I am blessed to live in. It's not a big space, but it's a beautiful space, and the people in it are beautiful. And I'm very, very grateful for them. And I'm grateful for you too. I would love to engage more. I guess that's part of why, me authentically communicating is not necessarily on here first, because it feels very one way. And I do appreciate you guys. I know a few of you have commented, and we have had a few little conversations, but she's distracting because she's so cute. Aren't you, baby? Are you going to stick your ear in your water? Are you jealous? Dixie dog is jealous. Anyway, I'll let you guys get back to what you were doing. I know this has been a little bit of a long video, so hopefully you have hopefully it makes up for me not having been around so much here lately. So I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for your patience with me. I appreciate that a lot. And I hope you keep coming back. I hope that I can share more authenticity with you and just actually give you something worth spending your time on. I will bring you guys along as I build the fence, as I build the deer protection measures and things like that. I do have a tray of seeds in there that needs to go out. So I'm thinking it's probably still going to be a few weeks, because I don't know if you've ever tried to buy lumber, but it's not cheap. And then I have to buy at least 1 roll of fencing. It may end up being more than that. I haven't even tried to price it. So, that will happen as we're allowed to do it in terms of our finances. So anyway, I'll keep you posted on how that goes. And again, I really, really appreciate you. And I hope, you have a beautiful day. This has been Sam at Harvey Cat Homestead, and thanks again for hanging out with me. All right, bye, friends.